Okay, so what I decided to do today was do the turbo drain because I needed to change the oil in this thing anyway, and I kind of wanted to. Since I went ahead and bought the pan gasket. I did that for a few reasons. One, it'll be easier to knock that bushing out for the turbo drain, and two, this pan's got quite a few dents in it. You can see right there. Right there. So I'm going to take it off and pound those dents out. So since I need to change the oil, I figure I might as well do the turbo drain and pull the pan off and address these, knock that bushing out, and do that all at once. It actually wasn't near as hard to get off as I thought it would be. Came in from the top. I took the air cleaner off, and from the top I was able to take a 1/4 inch drive ratchet and a 13 millimeter socket, shallow socket, and get in there, and from the bottom of the turbo there's a nut or a bolt right there. So I got in from the bottom, came in under here and got that ratchet on there and got it off. And then there's another one over here. Got in from the front over here and did the same thing over there. Got both of them out, came right off, tube came right off. I pushed it down, twisted it, and pulled it up through here and got it off the lower tube, and then was able to push the bottom over and drop it down off of the tube. So picked it up out of the lower tube and then pushed it over down beside the tube and pulled it out, and that's it sitting over there. So got that one out. The other one is kind of loose, but I'll just knock it out since I'm pulling the pan off anyway. I'll just knock that one out from underneath, from through the pan, and knock that bushing out, and then I can put the new bushing in. It just seemed like really the pan is easy to get off on these, and with mine being dented, yes, you can do this without pulling the pan, but it just seemed like it was going to be much easier just to go ahead and pull the pan and do it, and the pan gasket's cheap. And that allows me to look up in there, see what it looks like inside. If there's any debris in the bottom of the pan, I can clean that out. The pickup screen, if it's got debris on it, I can clean that out. So it just seemed like a good idea on an engine that we don't know any of the maintenance on it. Seemed like a good idea to pull the pan, take a look, plus it had those dents in it. So, and it looked like it was going to make this job a whole lot easier to do it anyway. So, all right, let's continue on. All right, lower oil pan is off, and everything looks nice and clean inside. I'll check the screen right there, but everything else looks good. Drive chain looks good for the oil pump. See up there to the crankshaft. So I had one issue with one of the bolts was stripped out. The Allen socket was stripped out on the bolt, but I'm pretty sure I grabbed, that was the bolt for the bracket that has the bracket for the cooler line. I'm pretty sure I grabbed the bolt when I pulled the cooler line off the other car. You can see the oil pan looks nice and clean. There's no sludge in the bottom. There may be a few little pieces of stuff, probably stuff that has dropped down. It seems more, it's not metallic, doesn't seem metallic. No. Maybe I should get a magnet. Got a clip off of something. Let's set that aside. See if we can figure out where that came from. Might be metallic. That's all of it. That was in the, well, I tipped it on that corner to drain it. I was trying to think of what area that'd be best for it to stick. Oh, it's so black. It gets over all over everything. So let me grab a magnet. I got one right here. Let's see. See if that stuff's magnetic. Not magnetic. None of it. Well, that clip is, but what, this could be aluminum? No. What it looks like to me is part of an old seal. Yep, it breaks. So that's part of some seal. Possible they replaced the seal. Maybe even the turbo one at some point, I don't know. And the pieces of it fell down in the pan. Don't know where that clip came from. We'll have to take a picture of that and see if anybody knows. Set it up there. And yeah, none of that stuff's magnetic. It's in the pan, so we're good. So we'll have to clean this up, clean that gasket off, and go ahead and drive that seal out. I don't think I told you how that one that was stripped out, I used vice grips on it, and I got it broke loose. Let's see. So here's the tube. I used a 5/8 socket and an extension, 5/8 deep socket and extension, and I did not even pull the tube out of the grommet. I just, because that seems to be one of the more difficult things to do, is get that tube out. Since I'm taking the grommet out anyway, I used that socket. I drove them both out at the same time. So as you can see, the grommet is still on the tube, and it is out. It's pretty dented up. I did not do that, but I guess that doesn't hurt it. So there's the O-ring. O-ring still got a little bit of give to it. I don't know if it was leaking. And this grommet is hard as a rock, so I'm sure it was leaking. So I'm probably gonna just cut this thing off. So it's out. We need to get our new one, and we'll put the new one in, and then we're going to clean the pan out. We'll get a block of wood and knock those dents back out, and go ahead and put the pan back on it, and clean the gasket surface up, clean out inside the pan, and put our new gasket on. Alright, so I've been trying to hurry. I'm running out of time. So real quick, I'll try to explain how I got it on there. I'm filthy, and I'm trying not to, I didn't bring my camera, so I'm using my phone, and I'm getting it all oily. Put the grommet on the tube past the O-ring indentation that's in the tube. So slip it all the way up on the tube. Let's just say this is the tube right here, and you got your O-ring little indentation right here. So you slip the grommet up past that with the lip part, facing up. Then put your O-ring on. Then start it down in the hole. And once it started in the hole, I oiled the grommet up. I used this pry bar to slip in there and get around on all areas of that grommet, and push it down into the block. And that's what I used to push it down in the block. I tried using that piece of PVC at first, and I just couldn't. I got in one spot and pushed it down, but I couldn't get the rest of it. Once I was able to do that, then I pushed the whole tube down and to give myself room till it bottomed out. I put the upper tube in, of course with the new gasket, bolted it in place, you know, slipped it over, and then I got up under the car, used that 5/8 socket again, and pushed the, because it didn't seem like that, but where the two tubes meet, it didn't seem like they were fitting together very deep, like it was just barely in there, so I wanted to push it up to where they had a good seal. So I got up under the car, used that 5/8 socket again, and pushed the tube up, so to push the two tubes together more, and that's how I did it. So got that on, got the oil pan kind of banged back out. It's better, doesn't have any big creases anymore. Got it cleaned up. I didn't worry about, don't have much brake cleaner and stuff, so I didn't worry really about cleaning the outside of it off. I've got the new gasket over here. I'm gonna put it on dry. Thought about using some of that aircraft aviation stuff that you brush on, but I decided just to put it on dry. I'm pretty sure they want you to put it on dry, so we'll put it on, and then let's see, just like that. So we get that bolted back up there. I need to look through my thing of screws and find that other bolt that I got from the junkyard, and we'll go ahead and bolt the pan back on it. And I checked the screen's clear, the pickup screen. One other quick note, this is the PCV oil drain. While I had that turbo drain tube, there's a little stub, tube sticks up out of the oil pan that this tube slips over on top of. I pulled this tube off. There's an O-ring on it. I pulled that O-ring off and put a new O-ring on it, and it was dried up. I'm sure it was probably leaking too, and so now it's got a good tight fitting O-ring on there. So it would be hard to get to with that turbo drain in the way, so I went ahead and did it while it was out.
Alright, got the oil filter changed. That's a mess to get in there with all those vacuum lines. Be nice if they had rerouted this coolant hose and all the vacuum lines, made that a little easier, but got it changed. Just make sure you don't knock any vacuum lines off when you do it. And got it refilled with oil, and so we are done with that. Now to move on to the next item, and of course you need to put your oil cleaner or air cleaner back on, and you want to put a new O-ring on the bottom side of the air cleaner where it goes into the drain pipe. So let's move on to our next item on the list of things to do on this Mercedes.